economy, sports, and document fact today.
Viewers, and good evening. Welcome to ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. ATN Politics is the network's flagship program that discusses core political trends with relevant political stakeholders also. Today on ATN Politics, we will be discussing core issues from different political landscapes, such as in Edo State, Subeb boss moves to mobilize voters. Senator Godswill Akpabio dismisses reports of a new aircraft for the presidency. Peter Obi says the leadership crisis in the Labour Party can be resolved. And APC says Atiku's visits are not intimidating to the party. We'll go for a very short break, and when we return, we introduce our guests and we head on to discussions for today. Please stay tuned.
On ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people. All of
leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the world on ATN.
Welcome back to ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. I am your host, Raymond Ken Mbata, and with me to dissect matters on political affairs today is a political analyst, Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu. Welcome, sir, on ATN Politics.
Good evening or good afternoon from anywhere, any part of the world you're watching. It's good to be here on ATN Politics.
It's my pleasure having you here too.
Always my pleasure to be here talking Nigeria.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, straight to the issues for today. Subeb, the executive chairman of Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, Osaz Vize Salami, on Monday launched the AIO2 initiative to mobilize voters for the September 21st governorship election in the state. The Subeb chairman, who was in Akoko Edo to intimate citizens and party faithfuls on numerous laudable programs of the Abaseki-led administration in Edo State, used the event to set in motion the launching of Edo is Better with AIO2, a political movement to boost the chances of the People's Democratic Party candidate Asue Igodalo and his running mate Osarodion Ogie at the polls. Salami, a veteran grassroots mobilizer, also used the opportunity to give out palliatives and put smiles on the faces of indigents across wards 1 and 2 of the local government area, noting that other wards would also benefit in the near future. Yeah, back to discussions proper. Mr. Ugochukwu, sir, we are seeing, first of all, an example of an executive chairman of a power startup.
Of government.
Of government. Playing the role, per se, political role for his appointment, mobilize voters for the governorship candidates of the PDP. Perhaps it is for you to discount it or to accept it. Did he get this position as the Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, as the chairman of such a board, did he get that position on the basis of the fact that he is a mass mobilizer, that he is going to assist? Because universal basic education does not seem like a place where a hardcore politician that is a mass mobilizer should be in. Perhaps if it was essay on political matters, it is understandable. Let me get your take on this.
Good evening once more, Mr. Raymond, and I'm really happy to be on ATN Politics, my medium appearance.
Yeah.
And it's worrisome, the kind of politics we play in Nigeria, because we don't know when to draw the lines. You know, that you are an appointee of the government does not mean you are subservient to your paymaster or to the person who appointed you. You are now being distinguished, you know, chosen among many to serve in a given capacity, to render service to the citizenry of that given community or organization. And in this case, we are talking about Edo State. It's worrisome that everything in Nigeria, we play politics with it. It is also worrisome that we don't know some of the, we put the square holes in the round holes, you know. Using the office as the UBE chairman to go on a campaign is really making it an extension or an organ of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State. This is the way I see it clearly, because you find out that though the Edo State governor had appointed you to be in that capacity, merited or unmerited, but from what we are seeing now, the person was not appointed on meritocracy, because you would have known that the sound of education is not the sound of politics. And the work to be done in the education sector is not the work to be done in the politics. And mind you, UBEC is for the primary level.
Exactly.
So those people are not, that's why I say that, you know, everything in Nigeria is politics, misplacement of priorities. You know, is it the children that are underaged when they come to the voting age in Nigeria that you're going to campaign? Or you now shut down your office, or use the monies that are accrued to the commission to go and, you know, start politicking? If he has said he would go back to his wards, to go back to his constituents and mobilize for the governor, this is a clear indication that you are working for the person who found favor in you. It's a payback time. But to use your office and maybe the palliatives or maybe the monies accruing to that commission, you want to use it, you know, to hoodwink people, maybe parents and all that, in, you know, attracting sympathy vote to the PDP is uncalled for. And this is a clear departure from what the Constitution says and the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, saying that it behoves on the political parties to go for the campaign and educate. They didn't even leave the education on INEC.
Yeah.
It's not a burden on INEC to educate the voters or telling the voters this is the logo of your party or this is where you're going to vote.
Yes.
It is the parties, political parties, that are saddled with that responsibility.
Okay.
Then what INEC is saddled with is making sure that the timetables are out on time, that the parties conduct their primaries according to the laid-down rules that oversees the emergence of candidates at the primary level. Another thing that they have to do is the mobilization and distribution and the actual collection of making the voting materials available for the people to come and cast their votes.
Exactly.
It is the political parties that are saddled with the responsibility of mobilizing the so-called members of the party to come and vote. And if you can, through your ideology or your rhetorics or whatever, you're able to convince the undecided populace, the undecided voters to swing towards you, is your own at your own gain.
Exactly.
And again, another organ of government that is saddled with the responsibility of enlightening the people as it concerns electioneering campaign and what happens before, during, and after elections is the National Orientation Agency, which are domiciled in local governments and in the states.
Exactly.
So what is you have not seen any state government empower them. You have not seen any local government empower them, make their offices as viable as it should, to be the mouthpiece of the government, in order to reorientate and educate the people on the happenings within the state. That is why somebody who is, what's his name again?
Salami.
Salami, who is the chairman of Superb, had to now use his office. Not using his office as a person, as the chair of the Superb, but using the office that he's occupying, using the commission as a vehicle of garnering support for PDP in the coming Edo State governorship election in 21st of September 2024.
Exactly.
This is an aberration. This is what we say in Nigeria, and this is us.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is exactly us.
Exactly.
Because going by this, it could, if it's in Senaclan, you can't even hear it. He's supposed to have thrown in the towel, and even the governor who appointed him would have showed him the exit door for misplacement of priority, not knowing his bounds, not knowing the office to use in just like the Chief Justice of Edo State and the Attorney General will now use his office and mortgage them that the Judiciary Commission or the Judiciary in Edo State is tending towards voting for the PDP. This is an aberration.
Exactly.
And they also know that they are also the appointees of the governor, but because they understand the lines everything shouldn't be politics in Nigeria. And this is not only happening in the Edo State, it's happening in all the different facets of Nigerian, both in the ministries, in the parastatals. Any of them that gets an appointment want to use it to attract, to show the governor that we are working.
Exactly.
And we are with you.
Exactly.
If you have not done that, you are not working for the governor. But this is not how it's supposed to be in the political arena.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well put out there. And now let's move on to the second story there. The Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has dismissed the report that the 10th Senate is proposing that the federal government procure a new aircraft for President Bola Tinubu and his Vice Senator Kashim Shettima.
Vice President.
The Vice President, Akpabio, in a statement on Tuesday by his media aide, Jackson Udom, was quoted to have made this known while speaking to newsmen in Maiduguri, shortly after leading a delegation to pay a condolence visit to Senator Tahiru Munguno over the death of his father. Last week, reports filtered in the media that the Senate President commented that the Senate would approve the purchase of a new aircraft for the President and Vice President, irrespective of the fact that Nigerians are hungry. The Senate President said the report was from propagandists and fifth columnists, stressing that the Senate was focused on delivering legislation supporting the actualization of President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Yeah, Mr. Gochukusa, the Senate President has given his 2 cents, his thoughts concerning procurement of a new aircraft for the President and the Vice President. Prior to this time, you can recall that the President, because the presidential fleet was not in order, he had to resort to chartered flights.
And they're boarding commercial flights too.
And even boarding commercial flights, and wrote his engagements outside the country. Though it's reeked of, should I call it, carelessness on the part of the National Security Advisor, because we have been getting reports about plane crashes in Iran, in Malawi. Do we leave our president and our vice president, number 1 and number 2, citizens of Nigeria, to be in such a precarious position? What is the fate of the president and the vice president as pertains the presidential fleet? The Senate President has said there is no plans to get any new fleet for them, but at the same time, there is need for that question to be answered. How do we face this debacle, sir?
We're Nigerians, Nigerian political watchers and opinion molders and the citizens that follow the political trend in Nigeria are locked in between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Exactly.
Because this is the, there's an Igbo dictum that we say, this is the king that you know that will emerge.
Okay.
You can take it to the bank for free. Put it in any bank. Maybe CBN is the most safest bank now.
Yeah.
At least for now, from what we are hearing.
Exactly.
So take it to CBN and put it in the cooler there that this air fleet will be bought. Whether Nigerians like it or not, I'm always a realist. Because the people that want to play in with our intelligence also, you know, ambushed Nigerians by playing to the gallery. That I think sometime last month, early this month, the president went to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And the report we had was that his aircraft was grounded.
Yes.
And has to board a commercial flight to Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yes.
On another breath, we heard that the vice president, within 2 days of that incident, was going on an official tour, and his aircraft had to make a turn.
Yes.
to land safely because there was a mechanical fault.
Exactly.
These were immediately I had those things, I knew something was cooking. This is us, this is Nigeria, and this is how our leaders try to poke us into believing in the realities that exist only in their minds, and which are the realities of, self-centeredness, which is the bane of politics in Nigeria. Politics, as is defined, is supposed to be for the welfarean interests of the people, which includes even the person who is performing that particular job.
Exactly.
But here, it is forced to the person, to the benefit of the performer, who is, saddled with the responsibility of overseeing the affairs of others, being paid and cared for with our patrimony. They are our tenants. We employ them, we pay them. So their welfare is our priority, which has been carved out and captured in the Gazette, the Nigerian Gazette, of how the package and the welfare of public servants, how it will be taken care of. Then it is only their duty to now fashion out the problems according to the realities of the time as it affects the people, to deal with it. That is why you see when there is an outbreak or epidemic or something, natural disaster happens, the government quickly reacts, because these are unforeseen circumstances.
Exactly.
That is why they are there, to make sure that we live, because their own welfare has been packaged. They even know about it before they go into that. But we, the people, we don't know what the policies they are going to turn out now to affect our lives.
Exactly.
So when that particular news broke, I quickly, wrapped my mind around it that something is cooking. This is a payback time. Though the House of Assembly, the federal government, the Federal Executive Council has danced to their tune, or the presidency as a target in Nigeria has danced to their tune of buying 150 million SUV for them.
Yeah.
This is their time to also, wash the hand of the president and the vice president for quickly approving their own. So there is nothing Akpabio is saying that I'm buying. This is just a damage control, but the damage is out there. They have met their match in Nigerians that are thinking ahead of them.
Yeah.
This is what I'm telling you. Yeah. There are a lot of things that needs urgent attention in Nigeria. Nobody's talking about it. We are still bedeviled with insecurity. Look at in Benue State, bandits are giving the farmers an ultimatum to pay 20 million before they go into farming. But this is a country. Are we going into the Woyoshoyinka's tale or Chinua Achebe that said there was a country? So there are, of all the problems bedeviling Nigeria, is this economic crunch and the hyper price influence of goods and services in Nigeria, and many companies, multinational companies, are packing up in Nigeria and going out. The epileptic power supply. We have not even resolved the mysteries surrounding the taking away of fuel subsidy and where those monies are going. We have not finished talking about how much are we selling a liter of fuel and a liter of diesel. Nobody talks about kerosene again in Nigeria. Nobody talks about, trying to make the cooking gas available for families. Nobody is talking about how the pharmaceutical companies and the stationery companies that are manufacturing books and other things for students, how the government is going to, cushion the effect of the high cost of production. Nobody is talking about it. But the Senate, Akpabio, quickly came and passed Nigeria Will Healthy. What is the need of the passage of, is it the new national anthem that is the problem of Nigeria? After they have, nipped all these myriads of problems in the bud, then they said able people have a dictum that when sleep is so sweet, you begin to snore. You don't lie down immediately and begin to snore. And it is a man in our present reality now, it is a man who has ate so well and fed so fat that can snore. Because to snow, you need a lot of energy.
Exactly.
So the Senate president coming out to say this is just playing to the gallery. It's a political statement because, believe you me, they have already bought that particular presidential air fleet. Maybe they will buy 2, but it is only for the time for it to be brought in, and the cock and bull story will be told to Nigerians. Again, when you look at it critically, you find out that before Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to office, he can boast of 3 private jets.
Yes.
In this critical moment, is it not a time that they can help Nigerians? At least in the words of LS Oti, the governor of Abia State, he said that the politicians have enjoyed enough. Now it is the time for citizens to feel a touch of what is called the dividends of democracy. Exactly. And in the words of Senator Rochas Okorocha, distinguished, he said that they, the political and the ruling class should also, try to cut their appetite in order to save a lot of money to make Nigeria work. Exactly. This is where I hint it, because what Ababio have said here, for me, is because people has been quoting what he said, and he only came to the media to debunk it. Yeah. But in this era that we are, you can't debunk something that is already out in the public. So I'm only awaiting, I can't say I'm only awaiting the landing of the presidential airfield. But for it to be bought, it has already been bought.
We have been listening to the political analysis and the musings of Gochukwu Ifeanyichukwu, a political analyst of repute. I suggest we go for a short break, and when we come back, we continue discussions. Don't move a muscle.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussion, social and the happenings on ATN.
Glad to have you back on ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. We have been discussing with Ifeanyichukwu Ugochukwu, a political analyst, and I am your host, Raymond Ken Mbata. Now let's move to the next topic for discussions. Your 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, has said that he, Governor Alex Otti of Abia State, and other relevant stakeholders can resolve the leadership crisis of the party. Obi said that the party's National Executive Council, NEC, he and Otti will meet in line with Labour Party's constitution to decide on the party's leadership crisis. He also stated that the decision to have Labour Party's national chairman, Julius Abure, remain retained is one that the stakeholders will have to decide on. Obi said this while fielding questions from reporters after he addressed the chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Transition Committee, headed by the former president of the NLC, Abdul Wahid Omar. Yeah, we want to look into the politics of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the presidential candidates of the Labour Party 2023 and projected candidates also of 2027 in pari passu with the wishes of the Labour Party per se. Julius Abure had hosted a national convention of which he and his cabinet was retained. Yesterday, there was an ambush on the premises by the members of Nigerian Labour Congress Transition Committee, while the presidential candidate was having a speech right inside the office, and they had to dissuade these other protesters with petrol bombs. I mean, this is the Labour, both the party and the Congress. Petrol bombs, sticks and stones, until security officers came to soften the place and make it conducive. And now Peter Obi is coming up with the fact that he, Alex Otti, and other stakeholders can resolve the crisis. Do you think he is capable of resolving the crisis between the NLC and the Labour Party?
My answer is an emphatic no.
Oh, reasons, please, sir.
The problem of Labour Party has gone beyond reconciliation unless the Aburi-led council goes. The Aburi-led leadership is not an executive that will drive the dreams and aspirations of the Labour Party into actualization. And the reasons are this. when the former Labour Party chairman left and Abure was positioned, I'm saying this prior to the 2023 general elections.
Yeah.
Abure emerged. Nobody knew Abure. He's not a charismatic leader. He's not a politician of the influence and the being an opposition leader in Nigeria. You must be well grounded and positioned, and you must know the intricacies of the Nigerian politics, which is lacking in Abure. Abure and his co-travelers on the leadership of Labour Party are just, glorying on the wings of the organic support that Peter Obi, gained through Nigerians during the elections. He is enjoying the love and the support people have for Peter Obi. And you could also see that it was only when Peter Obi departed from PDP that Labour Party had a name. So if somebody like Peter Obi today leaves Labour Party will die a natural death. And that is what Labour, the Nigerian NLC, does not want. Because they know that, look at the back and forth. If you look at it critically, if you are a good student of politics, you look at the trajectory of what Labour has suffered back to back in this democratic dispensation, you will understand where they are coming from. Because what happened last year was an eye-opener for them. And they don't want to lose that particular support. They want to rather build on it. If Abure is somebody who has the interest of the advancement of the dreams of Labour Party, nay, the NLC at heart, would have started building, we have started, when Obi went on a thank you visit to Nigerians, you didn't see him participate. He would have started building by now. There must have been, new registrations, going into the wards and strengthening it and mapping out the mistakes or the lacunas that were experienced during the last general election, which was the highest inroads that a Labour Party or a third force has made in the Nigerian political history. We would have, by now, that we don't have time when it comes to politicking in Nigeria, you would have started, making concerted efforts in trying to bring everybody together.
But coming in there, don't you see the activities juxtaposing what you said now concerning preliminary arrangements and preparations towards 2027?
Yes.
And still building on the foundations of what has been achieved at 2023.
Of course.
You have seen some situations where there's the so-called obedience in Edo State are not supporting the Labour Party candidate. Are they not shooting themselves at the foot?
That is what I'm telling you, because the Labour Party candidate in Edo
Don't forget, Abure is from Edo State.
Where? No, you would have taken the words off my mouth. Because they came out, even Kenneth Okonkwo, the campaign spokesperson of the Obidati, came out and said that what happened in Edo that accumulated in the emergence of Apata was a shenanigan. He was bought over. And even during the elections, you have had on good authorities that the monies that were garnered, the monies that Labour Party made through selling of forms and all that, have not been accounted for till today. It was only Obi and his campaign organization that gave blow-to-blow account of how they spent the monies that were contributed and the ones that party men brought. Till today, the Labour Party as a party from the national level has not conducted any of those audits. And again, you saw the treasurer or the financial secretary accusing Abure camp directly that they have to come out and give account of the monies that Nigerians contributed and the monies that the party made during the selling of forms and all that. till today, we have not had anything. So if you say that the obedient, remember that the obedience are not Labour Party members. We have to say that clearly.
But
the
Peter
obedience
Obi,
are
Peter
the
Obi.
followers of Obi, that any day Obi shifts camp, they move. It is an organic support.
But why are they not with Obi now
No.
that he has not shifted camp?
No, they are not with him because if you look at what is happening, Nigerians want the best. Nigerians want things done differently. The obedience, what they want is that how did Abata emerge? Was it transparent? Was it that money exchanged hands? Was Abata the most competent to represent the interests of Labour Party? You know, before you call the obedience in to come and support. The answer is emphatic no. So if you go by what I've said, you
But
find
Peter
out that
Obi has not said anything concerning that.
no, but Obi have been playing to the gallery.
Oh,
Obi
and
has
meanwhile,
not been the Obi.
I want to even know the credentials
Obi
of Alex Oti to be able to resolve this particular crisis.
I have said that
Yes.
this crisis cannot be resolved because the people at the helm of affairs in the Labour Party are not willing to shift ground and consider and look at the greater picture. They are not the people that will drive this vehicle. Remember that Labour Party and obedience are not a party per se. How many people can they boast of being their membership strength? The answer is in the negative. But you have that love because of the face of the person of Obi. And let me tell you that if Obi cannot resolve this issue, he has no other choice than to shift his base because he will listen to his supporters at the end of the day. Yeah. So what he's doing is that let me try and this house that housed me when it was raining, where I ran for safety, let me just not leave it orphaned.
Okay.
Or maybe people will say that I've used them in gaining momentum and prominence. Now I've left them.
Okay.
That's Obi is just trying to do the damage control. And where it is not possible for him to achieve that, Obi have to shift camp.
Okay.
But telling me that the impasse between the Abure-led executive and the NLC led by Joe Ajaero, that they will come to a compromise is a lie. And then don't forget that the Apapa faction and the Abure faction has now merged together.
Yes.
So, and they are coming together. Did they bring all the opinion mothers together in order to form a common ground? The answer is no. And you remember that before the elections, Abure was a member of APC. And then the wife also left the campaign where the husband is holding sway and accepted to play a role in the campaign train that brought Ashwaju, Bola Tinubu, and Showolu into power. So why not the woman rescue himself knowing that your husband is holding a sensitive position? And don't forget that Abure has been accused of selling out, that he did not do the underground work. You could see other parties taunting Labour Party after the election that they don't even have ward agents. They don't even have polling booth agents. But the monies were there. Who failed to mobilize? Elections in Nigeria is not a tea party. That is why I tell you that the person of Abure is not the person that will take them to that promised land.
Okay. I love the angle you brought this from. But let's see what Peter Obi is going to come out with as he has promised.
Peter Obi will try.
Okay.
He has been trying, and he has tried to lean with Abure.
Okay.
But Abure is not helping matters here. Abure is self-centered. Abure is there serving the interest of whomever he's representing and not the Labour Party.
Okay.
And thereby killing the dreams and aspirations of millions of Nigerians who have anchored their hope of survival and the hope of a new Nigeria on Labour Party. That is what Abure is doing.
All right. The All Progressive Congress, APC, on Tuesday have reacted to the recent visits of ex-Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, and prominent northern politicians to the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari. Correspondents report that the visit, which has been termed as the Salah homage, has been received with mixed reactions. There are claims that the visit to Buhari's residence in Daura, Katsina State, is a plan to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. The Deputy National Organizing Secretary of the APC, Nze Chidi Duru, in an interview with the press, however, said that the ruling party is not intimidated by the visit, and according to Duru, every Nigerian, including politicians, have a right to freedom of association as guaranteed by the Nigerian Constitution. Back to the topics and questions for discussion, sir.
Nigerian politics at play.
I mean, Nigerian politics is very dynamic.
Very, very.
Number one in the whole Africa.
Yes.
And we are seeing, according to Sheikh Husani, he says it's a desert trotting. According to some pundits, they have claimed that this is not just a Salah visit.
And I agree.
All right. And meanwhile, we are having insinuations coming from the Deputy National Organizing Secretary of the APC, Chidi Duru, that he is not intimidated by the visits, the various visits and courtesy visits of Atiku, that he is trying to, his intention is to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to put it to you too, for your own opinion. The caliber of people that Atiku has so far seen, and with the people that he's going about with, Nasir El-Rufai, and also former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, does it look like he is garnering enough of what it may take to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027?
Anybody who has the interest and the welfare and the unity of Nigeria at heart should not be talking about a president of northern extraction come 2027. Any Nigerian, be you a politician, be you a military man, or be you an ex-president that is harboring any iota of dreams of unseating a southern president within 4 years, and they want to install a northern president, it will not work. And Atiku, who is aware that time is running out of him, in another breath, he said that he will support Obi. You know, this visit started with Obi. He just brought Obi into the mix and said that if PDP microzones the party flag bearer to the southeast, he will support Obi. In another breath, Atiku is ganging up and gathering northern politicians and paying homage to President Muhammadu Buhari, retired general in Daura. And the APC, on the other hand, saying they are not intimidated. They're intimidated because we are talking about the North. It is also, I will also make it known to Chidi Duru, that it is in the cabinet of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, an APC president, that we have seen the most number of ex-governors being appointed as ministers. He didn't appoint them because they are technocrats. He appointed them to pay, is a payback time. Because we knew that about 9 northern state governors stood out in the support of Tinubu, that the right thing must be done, that power must shift, including this El-Rufai, that power must shift from the north to the, to the south, in line with the unity and the federal character that the Nigerian state professes. And now Atiku is going about, beginning to fan the embers of, nepotism, fanning the embers of religion, fanning the embers of ethnicity. It will not work. It is no longer in that Nigeria. Because even when Buhari was on seat, how did the North fare? Now that Tinubu is turning out his economic programs, that we are yet to see the light at the end of the tunnel, we should wait and see. The only way what they are planning will fly if they, after ganging up, whether they are going to form a mega party or whether they are going to use PDP as a vehicle or whatever is to, after gathering the opinions of the northern elites, they now position another northerner, another southerner to wrestle power from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is the only way I see their agenda and their game is flying. If not for that, it will set this country on edge. Because you cannot tell me that Muhammadu Buhari finished serving 8 years and Bola Ahmed Tinubu will end up in 2027. It's not going to work. Though what they are doing, I feel that what they are doing is to, garner the support of the northern elites who will eventually talk to their people about the blood vote. You know that President Muhammadu Buhari, former, always have 12 million votes hanging somewhere. And that is the trick that Ahmed Tinubu played in bringing him out from political retirement and using him in 2015. So, but if the likes of Atiku thinks that Muhammadu Buhari is still having that kind of block vote somewhere, they will be deceiving themselves. Oh. This is on a national television. They will be deceiving themselves because, you know why?
Tell me.
Muhammadu Buhari did not merit the 8 years he ruled Nigeria. He did not endear himself either to the northerners or to the southerners. That was why he couldn't choose his successor. The person he projected as his successor, if they tell him in his wildest imagination and the cabals that surrounded him then that it will be an Ahmed Tinubu that will succeed him, he will not agree. You remember that there was a time APC wanted to do consensus. It was Ahmed Tinubu that scuttled that consensus because the consensus would have not favored him. Yeah. If not that we had somebody like Ahmed Tinubu who was interested in the party's flag, APC would have gone consensus to another remote person that will be remote controlled as a president, as a stooge. So you find out that Muhammadu Buhari made an inroad in the northern northern states because when Abacha was the head of state of Nigeria, he made him the PTF chairman. Yeah. And all the monies that we are having, the fuel subsidy removal monies now, that we don't know where they are. Yeah. He channeled this money through that commission that Muhammadu Buhari was the head. And he was able to build a lot of schools, do a lot of things for the North. And they did not forget. Yeah. And there was a time for a payback. And that is why they were always standing by him. You could see that he's not a politician that has appetite. You saw his house when he won an election in Dauda. He's still living in an old thatch house. So people found out that Buhari was a man they could entrust their tomorrow. But when he came, his age has failed him. And at the end of the day, he was not able to make that needed impact, even in the northerners and even in the country that he has dreamt to come and fix the shattered economy and the insecurity, which he rode on. The insecurity now metamorphosed into what they call bandits. You know what they call Boko Haram again? Exactly. Now it's bandits. Even the name terrorists does not appear again. Yeah. But they have been gazetted as a terrorist group. But they metamorphosed. ISIS is there. ISIS West Africa is there. Yes. And all that. So this is what Muhammadu Buhari left us with. He left us with hunger. He left us with the confusion of the removal of fuel subsidy that Tinubu came and announced. Yeah. Without knowing what he was putting himself into. Exactly. So if those people who are championing this, the aerofiles of this world, and Aminu Tambowa who sold out, who backstabbed his friend Nyesom Wike, when it was a time for a payback, and the Atikus of this world who cannot go and groom people. You see that Nigerian politicians do not groom people to take up the mantle, and you can entrust the person and give the needed advice and guidance. So that is why somebody like Atiku will be running from Babangida to Buhari. What was his relationship with Buhari when Buhari was on seat? If they were in that good terms, why did Buhari not back him to take over from him? Even though he was coming, we have seen in Kenya when Uhuru Kenyatta and what's his name? And Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. When he wanted to go out, despite the fact that we had two parallel families, political enemies per se, but they know what they gain as presidents of the country. When Raila Odinga was about to go, when Uhuru Kenyatta was about to go, he was supporting an opposition in Raila Odinga until the youthful vice president of his now rode on the conscience of the people and support of the people to win the election in Kenya. Exactly. So this is what they would have done. But now that they are coming to play politics in Nigeria, it will not work.
Exactly.
And as it's not going to work, Nigerians are watching. Unless they are going to present a formidable and an acceptable southern candidate that can now match up the aspirations of the people in order to vote out Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then that is the only way they can have their way. But if it is bringing back another Northerner to come and serve from 2027 to 3031, it will not work.
Oh. Those were the submissions of Ifeanyi Chukwu Ugochukwu, a political analyst of no mean repute. We hope that we will have the opportunity of hearing from him again on ATN Politics. But from me, your host, Raymond Ken Mbata, I say this is a wrap. Thank you for being with us, and thank you, sir, for gracing us. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
We wish there was more time, but we enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, we will not be tired of talking Nigeria.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, sir. So make sure you connect with us on our social media handles, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, on YouTube, on Twitter or X, Atlantic TV Net, or on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. Or view us on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. But peace and unity will always remain the pathways to progress. Until we come your way, same time tomorrow, stay tuned to Atlantic Television Network.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.